Back a lot of years ago, there were shadow-like creatures trying to corrupt the world in darkness. One of them, the strongest and the master of them, the name of corruption known as Shady, made sure his missions would be successful. People thought that hope would be lost, until a mortal named Dirla appeared, ready to save the day. She used her light powers to chase off the shadow-like creatures. Shady managed to get a good hit on her and corrupted her heart really badly. Her dark gem using more power, trying to control her. With her remaining powers, she broke her heart into two, separating those gems, which those two hearts became their very own souls. The dark one was sent underwater at Darkened Lake with shady shadows, while the light one was sent to Springlight Field. Dirla turned to her own spirit, leaving them on their own. Light known as Dirion, and dark known as Dirla leave. That is the beginning of Eeveelution Journeys. Back in the present, Nelson was chatting with Brianna, while Miles was seen reading a book. Eve is nearby, just sitting on a rock. Come on, Nelson, you should be spending more time with me, not Eve. I'm your girlfriend, Brianna said in a begging voice. Nelson scoffed about her possessiveness. Calm down, Brianna. Eve is my friend, so of course I'm gonna hang out with her, Nelson said in an annoyed voice. Brianna tries looking sad to make him feel bad, but instead he just walked away. Senshi looks at Miles reading and goes over. What you reading, bestie? Senshi said, coming out of nowhere. Miles kind of freaked out by her surprise appearance, almost dropping his book. Not much, just reading about the legends of the Darkened Shadows, yeah, Miles said, pretty embarrassed. Senshi laughs a bit about his shyness, then stops and puts a sympathetic face and tone. Miles, it's okay to like certain things. I promise no one here will judge you, and if someone does, tell me and I'll beat their ass, Senshi said with confidence. Miles smiled shyly at her, and she smiled back. Thanks, Senshi. How did I get so lucky to get an amazing friend like you? Miles said, kinda thinking that Senshi is too good for him. Because you're amazing, that's why, Senshi said happily. She grabbed an orange tulip and put it in Miles' hair. He felt kind of embarrassed by it, but didn't bother to touch it. I guess Miles is looking girly today, Drake said teasingly. Senshi balled her fist and gets up. Miles tries to hide his face. Oh, shut the fuck up, Drake. No one asked for your opinion. You say shit to Miles again, I'll beat your ass, Senshi said in an angry tone. Drake puts his hands up in surrender as he walks away. Senshi sits down next to Miles. Don't worry about him. He's just being a jerk. He's always been like that and I hate it, Senshi said with a serious and protective tone. Meanwhile, Nelson and Eve were talking and walking and saw Dirion looking at the beautiful view at the cliffside. Hello, Dirion. Enjoying the view? Eve said to her as Nelson was waving next to her. Dirion turned around and looked at them. I guess you could say that. I just sometimes wonder about my mother and the dark side of me, Dirion said as she puts a hand on the gem of light. Just forget about them. They're trapped underwater, and some people don't even think they're real. So I think we're all fine, Eve said with confidence. Nelson stands next to Dirion, looking off the cliffside. If you have any more dreams, then you can tell us. Yeah, Senshi told us about them. You know she's worrying about you, Nelson said with worry in his tone. Dirion nods, knowing that Senshi would care so much to tell Dirion's friends. Well, me and Eve got work to do, so we hope to chat with you later. Bye, Dirion, Nelson said, grabbing Eve's arm and leaving. Dirion sighs and thinks about the dreams she's been having. Who could the dark side be? What could happen if they were set free? She sees Drake walking over, and he just stands there. Dirion walks over to him. Hey, Drake, everything okay? I know we aren't really that close, but you can talk to me, Dirion said, putting a hand on his shoulder. Drake looks at her with sadness in his eyes. I just think about the past sometimes. My mother, we were close, and she's gone, forever, Drake said sadly. Dirion looked away, considering she never knew her mother. Drake realizes what he said and tries speaking up. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that. Sorry, Drake said, hoping she'd forgive him. Dirion smiles, forgiving him with silence. They both just stand there for a while, then Drake beats the silence. I gotta go for a bit. I hope to talk later, and thanks, Dirion. And Sorry about everything, Drake said, walking away. As he kept walking, he felt like someone was watching him. He didn't know where or who, but he felt it. He looked around him and felt some sort of hallucination. A shadowy-like figure comes from behind him. Hello there, are you feeling sad? The shadow figure says with a tint of mockery in their voice. Drake slowly nods. The shadow figure puts a hand on Drake's shoulder. Oh, grief is such a pain, isn't it? What would you do if I said I could help you out? They said, hoping that Drake would be interested. Tell me, please, Drake said, desperate for an escape. The shadow figure laughs, then looks at him. You're familiar with Darkened Lake. All I ask is you go there and break the bubble, they said, the last part sounding dead serious. I don't know. I mean, that place is off limits, Drake said kinda shyly, not knowing what to think. Well, that's fine. If you want to continue living the way you are, then be my guest, the shadow figure says as they start to walk away. Wait, I'll do it. Please, bring your bag, Drake said, wanting him to accept. The shadow figure looks over at Drake, satisfied. Good boy. Now, all you need to do is say darkness arise, then attack the bubble. Then I'll be able to help your situation, the shadow figure said, checking if Drake listened. And the boy, yes he has. Drake then makes his way to Darkened Lake, kinda worried, but still jumps in. Holding his breath, a few moments later he finds a very dark bubble, about the size of him. He swims towards it and gets ready to attack it. Drake, don't! Darion yelled, making a bubble around herself so she could breathe. Drake shakes his head and gets an attack ready. Sorry, Darion. Darkness arise, Drake said as he threw a shadow ball he carried for emergencies at the bubble, breaking it open, releasing the dark energy and Dark themselves. Why, hello, Light. Looks like manipulation still works, they said, laughing. Darion kept their bubble together, staring at her. What's your name, Dark? Darion asked, determined for an answer. My name is DL, short for Dearla Leaf. Surprised? You wish that I wasn't real. No matter how many times you told yourself, you knew that I was real, and you'll pay for Dearla's actions. I said, flying over to Darion's bubble, giving it a little touch. Good luck, Light, DL said, flying away out of the water. Darion thinks to herself, a bit confused. But my name is Darion. Whatever. I need a breakout, Darion said as she tried to break the bubble. The crack kinda restored, which kinda signaled that she was stuck in there. Oh shit, it won't open. Good luck, everyone. Please don't die, Darion said, sitting down low on energy. Everyone was just chilling until Dial arose from the water, ready to fight. Lots of them ran away once they saw Dial submerge from the water. Damn it, we have to do something, Senshi said with a tint of worry. Miles gets ready to fight. A random strike of confidence. We'll defeat you, dear Lilief. I know a lot about you, Miles said, ready to attack, getting into a good jumping position. Call me Dial. The name Dear Lilief is way too pathetic, Dial said, noticing Miles' fighting position. Miles jumps up and tries to get a good hit on Dial. They summoned a Shadow Claw and strikes Miles right in the face on his eye. Nice try, but this shit kills people, Dial said, laughing. Senshi runs over to Miles, checking his breathing and pulse rate. He's still breathing. Nice try, Dial, Senshi said with a confident smirk. Dial became really surprised and started to work. Damn it, how? He was supposed to die, Dial said. Then they get an idea. Senshi gets up and starts walking away. I'll be back, Miles. I'll find Darion, Senshi said. Drake runs to her. Darion is trapped in the Darkened Lake. I'm sorry, I didn't know that Drake said before Senshi pushed him out of the way. Senshi made it to Darkened Lake and jumped in. Remembering what Miles read, she knew exactly how to free Darion. Miles finally woke up from his knockout. He felt different. He didn't know if it was good or bad, though Dial noticed this and gets an attack ready. Though Senshi has already arrived at Darion. Hey Dial, missed me? Darion said playfully before becoming serious again. Oh, fuck you! Dial said as they get a dark energy ball ready. And Darion gets a light energy ball ready. Then both ready for combat. They stay at a distance, launching energy balls. Diao flying around a lot while Darion stayed on the ground. She jumps up and throws a punch at Diao. Miles then jumps up and kicks Diao down to the ground. "Oh, for fuck's sake!" Diao said as they just stood there thinking. Darion starts to get a light ball ready. Diao knew they'd lose, so they let the dark energy leave them. Her, as she let down her guard. Darion threw the light ball and got a good hit on her, making her body hit the wall. Diao blinked and her eyes were green. Weren't they just like all red and black pupils before? Now they look normal? Weird. Darion did not pay much attention to it. "Any final words?" Darion said, getting a light ball ready to end Diao. Diao looked around, confused, and back at Darion. "Who are you?" Diao said, very confused. "Wait, that light, it's familiar. Wait, no, please don't hurt me, Diao, please." Diao said, almost crying. Darion noticed it and put her light ball away. Miles was not happy about this. "For fuck's sakes, Darion, end her," Miles said, mad and serious. Darion was confused by Miles. He used to be so sweet and shy. This attitude was new. "Are you okay, Miles? You're acting different," Lily asked, also noticing the change. "Shut up! I'm fine, but I won't be if you don't kill this monster," Miles said, pointing at Diao. She looked down, knowing she's defeated. "I don't have final words. Please just don't make it hurt too much," Diao said, really scared. Darion let her guard down and walked over to Diao. "Look, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm Darion. I'm not here to hurt you," Darion said, holding a hand out to her. Drake nodded in agreement. "Yep, Darion is the nicest person in the world. She wouldn't harm a fly," Drake said in approval. Miles was pissed off about Drake agreeing. "Shut up, bitch. No one asked for your opinion," Miles said in an angry tone. Senshi noticed and tried talking to Miles. "What's wrong?" Senshi asked in a worried tone. Miles rolled his eyes as he tried to calm down. What's not fine is this nonsense going on here," Miles said, looking at Darion being friendly to Diao. Drake speaks up. "Come on, Miles, she's no longer evil. We can live in peace with her," Drake said before Miles grabbed the collar of his shirt, pulling him close. "You think that just because she's all nice after she almost died, she's no longer evil? Let me tell you, Drake, you're easy to manipulate, so of course you would believe her lie," Miles said, basically choking him. Drake struggled, then Miles decided to let him go. "I think it's best that I do more research. Diao, can you tell me more about yourself?" Darion asked in a calm voice with a tint of seriousness. "Well, I don't really know. It felt like I just came alive, but I guess with a bit of knowledge," Diao said, not really knowing who she is. Darion nods and takes out a map. "How about we take a trip to Shining Forest? That place holds plenty of legends," Darion said with confidence, and looked at everyone. "So who's coming with me?" Darion asked, hoping most would come with. Lily, Drake, Senshi, Miles, and Diao agreed to come with. "I'm glad you all agreed to come with," Darion said happily as she started to walk away. Everyone followed from behind. On their walk through Shining Forest, Diao stayed close to Darion. Miles scoffed and just walked. Drake walked over to Senshi and decided to start a conversation with her. "So, Senshi, are you alright?" asked with concern for her. Senshi thought he was mocking her until she looked at him in the face. "No, not really. Honestly, I thought you'd be the last person to ask," Senshi said, smiling at him. Drake smiled back. "I guess I've had a change of heart. Don't worry, no more bullshit from me," Drake said confidently. Senshi giggled as they continued jetting on their way. Miles just walked frustrated. Diao stayed close as Darion made her way through. Diao looked around and then back at Darion. "Wait, wasn't there another one?" Diao asked with concern. Darion looked around and started freaking out. "Oh shit, we lost Lily, what do we do?" Darion said as she started freaking out. Senshi looked around the forest, seeing how big it is. "Let's get to our destination first. You said there's a lot of people who live here. It's not safe to just walk around. We could get lost, and they can help us find Lily," Senshi said, a bit of worry in her tone, but she tries to comfort Darion by putting a hand on her shoulder. They continue walking through the forest to their destination. Miles looked around, feeling like he was being watched. Indeed he was. A wolf snake-like creature was watching them from the trees. Ah, Darion. From those stories told in the past, who's the green one? Must be Dark. She seems so nice and calm. I wonder what happened if I'd poisoned. Oh, so dear light. They said with sadism in their voice. Miles sped up his pace a little, now standing next to Diao. She doesn't look at him, but noticed a scar on his eye. Where did you get the scar? It looks familiar. Diao asked. Miles looked at her dumbfounded as she asked that. Don't act stupid, you're the one who gave me this damn scar, Miles said, then looking at her, only seeing confusion in her eyes. Diao looked sad. It's like she didn't know she hurt people. Meanwhile with Lily, she's been running and walking trying to find her friend. She saw a boy trying to burn a tree. He noticed her and spoke up. Hey, watch out! He yelled at her. She looked in front of her and she ran into a tree branch, hurting her eye. He ran over and checked on her. Hey, you okay? He asked, touching the injury a little. She nods and gets up. As she gets up, he helps her too. Luckily it didn't blind you. Anyways, what's your name, stranger? He asked with a calm smirk. Once Lily was standing, she spoke up. My name is Lily. What about you? She said, looking at him. He gets in a cocky, proud position. My name's Zaru, the best teen you'll find in this forest, Zaru said proudly. Lily heard the word teen and got curious. A teen? How old are you? Lily asked in curiosity. Zaru gets close to her while answering. I'm 15 and I don't see cute things that often, Zaru said, hoping to make her fluster. Lily sighed in disappointment. Oh, teens. I'm 18 years old. Too old for you, Lily said while looking at him with a tint of seriousness. Zaru was surprised, but just pushed it away. Okay, well, come on, Lily. I think I know where you may be trying to go, Zaru said, signaling her to follow him. Lily starts to follow him through the forest. Darion and her friends soon have made it to the location called the Shining Clan base. Two people walked over to them. One of them in a protective mood, the other just watching. Who are you? And what are you doing here? We don't allow outsiders, one of them said, raising up their sword. Jodo, calm down. I think this is life, the other one said, pointing at Darion. Jodo lowered his sword. Miles scoffed at them, whispering pathetic to himself. Jodo overhears him. Excuse me, pathetic? Says the one with no self-defense weapon and a big-ass scar, Jodo said, making Miles more angry. Senshi looks at the other one, curious about his name. Excuse me, what's your name and where are we? Senshi asked him. The other one takes a step forward. My name is Umbro, a protector of the Shining Clan. Where you are at the Shining Clan base. We protect our camp from enemies. Mainly a specific one, Umbro said, more quietly in the last part. Senshi was confused on who the enemy is, but decides to stay quiet. Well, maybe I can kick their ass, Senshi said, determined to beat them. Umbro gets real close to her face. Not happening. You don't know how dangerous this motherfucker is. He's not like any other person. He's a dark species, Umbro said in a very serious voice. Miles gets interested and walks over. Dark species, what are you talking about? Miles asks in curiosity. Umbro looks at him, then back at Senshi. Dark and light aren't the only beings with power. They are part of a species. Umbro was saying before a girl came over yelling, Hi guys, oh my god, is that Light? Light, I'm such a big fan. I mean, Darren, oh. She yells as she ran over. Diao backed up a little, but felt something watching her. Hello, what's your name? Darion asked, looking at this girl. My name is Heart. I'm your biggest fan, Darion. Heart said happily. Darion giggles a little about her excitement. Then a girl in white comes over. Hello, you must be Light, and that's Dark, correct? A girl said, not sounding happy about Diao. Darion nods as more members walk over. Let me introduce you to everyone. This is Vaporia, the leader of the Shining Clan. That's Jodo, and next to him is Umbro. They're both amazing protectors of the Shining Clan. That's Espo, he's a magician. That's my brother Star, he's amazing. That's Flarelet, my bestie, and... Heart said, looking at everyone with happiness. Wait, what was the last one? After Flarelet, Miles asked seriously and curiously. Heart looked at him dumbfounded. What do you mean? I didn't say anyone else. Which reminds me, Heart said before Miles interrupted. Don't you fucking play me. I'm not stupid. Who was the last one? Tell me now. Miles said, dead serious. Heart realized he wasn't playing games, but still was confused. I'm serious. I didn't say anyone after, but now there's someone I forgot to say. Hey, name is Zaru. Heart said before an interruption of Zaru and Lily making it there. Darion, Lily said, running over to Darion. Darian gives her a hug, so glad that she's back. Zaru, he's a classic teen who commits arson, Heart said, annoyed by Zaru. Miles just stood there, thinking about before. Who did she say? Why didn't she know what he was talking about? Oh, I'm going to bed. Where do we rest? Miles asked curiously and quietly. Heart smiled and pointed at some tents. Each one carries 2 people, so you guys need to figure that out. For example, me and Star share one, Victoria and Espo share one, Umbro and Jodo share one, Zaru and Flayla share one. So since there are 6 of you, how do you plan to split it? Heart asked. I think it's best for me to stay with Diao, Darian said, putting a hand on Diao's shoulder. Senshi looks at Drake, then the ground. Lily looks around too until Drake speaks up. I can share one with Senshi, Drake said. Miles glared at him. Senshi just stands there. Drake walks over to Senshi and she nods. Don't worry, I'll share one with Miles, Lily said, looking at Miles. Miles nods and speaks up in a harsh tone. Well, where exactly is mine? I need some sleep, Miles said in a harsh tone. Heart pointed to some empty places. I'm going to sleep. I'm tired as fuck, Miles said, walking to his tent and laying down. He at some point drifts to sleep. While everyone else is just hanging out, he feels awake, but in a strange dream. He's of the color red and black, and what seems to be a black void. He felt someone behind him. Turning around and saw someone. He didn't know how to describe them, so he decided to talk. And who the hell are you? Miles asked, looking at them. They laughed a bit and looked at him. Tell me, does the name Viper ring a bell? They said with a cocky smile. Miles right away recognized that name. Yes, why? Miles asked curiously in a serious tone. They pointed at themselves with both thumbs. Well, you're looking at him, he said in a cocky tone. Miles takes a minute to process in his head. You're Viper? Miles asks silently. He nods and throws his knife up and down. He then licks it after another catch. Yeah, the sadistic bitch is me. The sexy guy you're looking at is a master of murder, Viper said with confidence. Miles thinks to himself, a murderer? That chains ain't good at all, and he sounds so proud of it. Damn, that's definitely not good. Viper noticed his reaction and laughed. Aw, is someone scared? Don't worry, I see a lot of that, especially to dark species, Viper said in a sadistic tone. Miles jumps at the word dark species. Viper is a dark species? Damn. Miles had a bad headache for a bit, then sees DL turn to him. Red and black eyes, but kinda different. Miles, I don't have much control of myself right now. I don't know what's going on, but please take this and make sure he can't get it. It's called the Rainbow Gem. Please, please, please protect it. DL said in a shadowy, serious tone, but kinda desperate. Miles takes it and holds it, getting a lot of flashbacks of his past before waking up. He looks outside and realized it was night. Miles got out from his bed and walked outside to look around. He saw something glowing in the forest, but didn't go there. He just decided to sit outside for a bit. Meanwhile, Viper was just walking around the forest, eating a berry, until he saw a girl getting up from laying on the ground. The girl looks at Viper, noticing his gaze. Who the hell are you? Viper asked curiously, but dangerously serious. She looks at him, a tint of seriousness. My name is Aura. Where am I, and who are you? Aura asked. Viper spun his knife in his hand, then stood up. My name is Viper, and you are in the forest known as Shiny Forest. You're lucky to be a dark species, otherwise I would have killed you, Viper said in a proud and prideful voice. He looks at her eyes, red and black eyes. Interesting. A murderer? And could you tell me more about this place? Maybe legends? Aura asked. Viper gestured for her to follow him. She followed him from behind. They soon make it to Viper's cave. He lives there by himself. Aura looks around, seeing a basket of berries, old pictures, and plenty of random stuff to keep it nice and homey. You have a nice place here, Aura said happily. Viper looks at her, then talks again. You said you're interested in legends, correct? Viper asked, sitting down on a rock inside there. Aura nods, then Viper points a thumb to himself. Well, you're looking at one. I'm an important part of the legend of this forest. I'm the sexy serial killer, Viper said. Aura giggled a bit, then saw the seriousness in his eye. You're not kidding? Aura said kinda quietly. Viper nods and walks up to her, holding a picture. Let me tell you a story of how their parents died, Viper said, holding up his knife. Aura takes a few seconds to realize what he meant. Meanwhile, at the Shining Clan area, Darian was invited to Heart's tent for a bit to talk about a story. Hey Darian, I want to tell you a story kinda about my parents and why they're no longer alive, Heart said in a kinda sad tone. Darion sat next to Hart, listening to her. Back plenty of years ago, when I was a kid, my family was hanging around at the moment, until someone came up from the forest, wide eyes staring at us. My little brother Star got scared and hid behind my mom, talking smack about dark species. Viper heard and pulled a cocky tone. Oh, what's the matter with dark species? Viper said in a teasing tone. Star hid more behind my mother. My father walks over, fist ready to put up a fight. He starts charging at Viper, but Viper uses his tail, stabbing my father in the lower chest and dropping him. And Star started crying, Viper walking towards my mom. Deal with her, Viper said to a snake on him. It detached and bit my mother in the face, ripping off flesh and blood. Me and Star ran over to Jodo, who was pretty young too. He protected us. I'll take care of you, I promise. I'll protect you guys from now on, Jodo said, keeping us near him. Viper shrugged and started walking, then looked back at Jodo. You're lucky that I'm in a good mood. I expect to see you later, Viper said as he continued to walk away, disappearing into the forest. And that's the story of how my parents died. Hart said, still pretty sad. Darion sat next to Hart, putting a hand on her shoulder. I'm really sorry to hear that, Hart. Viper sounds like a horrible person, Darion said, mad about Viper killing Hart's parents. Hart gets up and goes to find her brother Star, while Darion heads to her tent, seeing DL sitting on her bed. Hello, DL. How are you doing today? Darion asked, sitting next to DL on her bed. DL looked away, trying not to make eye contact. DL, you know you can talk to me. It's okay, Darion said in a worried tone. DL looked at her. Yeah, I'm fine. Just please don't go. Please just stay here, DL said in a worried tone, hugging Darion tightly. Yeah, don't worry. I'll stay here. Darion said quickly as DL hugged her tighter. DL felt really scared. But why? Why was DL so scared? Darion thought if she should go ask her, but decided not to, considering how terrified DL looks. Good night, DL. I hope you sleep well, Darion said as she walked over to her bed and lay down, also turned off her light. DL turned off her light too, laying her bed shaking. DL felt a presence watching her, feeling her, smelling her. Meanwhile, Miles couldn't fall back asleep. It was the middle of the night. He felt disconnected from himself, like he couldn't control himself. Miles' eyes were black and red. He walked out of the tent, and luckily he felt some control left. Miles looked around, seeing Lily walk out of her tent, seeing Miles. Miles? Lily said, pretty confused. Miles heard that voice and immediately looked up at Lily, and in the corner of his eye, he noticed Viper hiding in the shadows. Lily, get out of here! Miles yelled. It was too late. Viper already snaked up from behind, claws ready. Hope you don't miss your beautiful eyes too much, Viper said, then ripping them out with his claws, scratching her face, now covered in blood. Viper knocks out Lily by hitting her real hard at the back of her neck with his tail. Then walks over to Miles, who seems out of control. Viper stands in front of him, looking at him. Let's kill that bitch, Jodo, Miles said. He seemed different, like he couldn't control himself anymore, like he was being controlled by a higher being. Viper was caught by surprise after hearing Miles wanting to kill Jodo. Wait a damn minute, rewind. Did you just say that you want to kill Jodo? Wait, how did you know that I was planning on killing Jodo? Viper asked, confused. So, do you want me to kill Jodo or not? Miles asked, his voice sounding annoyed. Viper nods and points to Jodo's tent. They both started to walk over there and soon stopped nearby the tent. That's where Jodo is. Find a way to get his attention. In the meanwhile, I think I'll set some things on fire, Viper said before getting interrupted. We don't have time for that. Can you please understand? We just need to kill Jodo. No arson needed. Miles said, pretty frustrated. Miles' head starts hurting really bad, really lightheaded, and a horrible headache. His vision starts to blur, ringing in his ear, barely hearing anyone. Whoa, Miles, you okay? Viper asked with a bit of worry. Miles could barely hear him, and he ends up falling on the ground, passing out. Viper tried shaking him awake, but it didn't work. He heard Jodo, so Viper fled in the forest. Miles is in a strange dream, and he sees a familiar figure. Looks like DL, but different. The figure appears behind him in a blink of an eye. Named Shadow DL. I ask, would you please assist me in taking out Darion? Light, Shadow DL said in a very shadowy voice. Miles recognized the voice. Has he heard this voice before? Never. Darion is my friend, Miles said in a serious defensive tone. Shadow DL just laughed before speaking up again. Oh, funny. I wonder how she'll react when she finds out you're a dark species. I wonder how she'll react when she sees you kill someone, Shadow DL said, still laughing. Miles got real confused, then woke up on the ground, seeing Hart and Star crying near Jodo, where his body lies dead, blood all over him. Miles panicked and tried running over, but Umbro stopped him. "Don't take another step, you monster," Umbro said in a serious voice, getting his sword ready. Miles got really confused, then remembered what Shadowtail said. He started to really freak out, a lot of thoughts in his mind. Senshi looked really worried. Then she found Lily on the ground. "Lily, shit, what happened? Who did this to you?" Senshi asked in a worried and panicking tone. Star ran over to Lily and helped her walk. "I don't know his name. I didn't get a good view. He has dark gray paws and light gray fur," Lily said. Star immediately recognized the description. "Viper. Here's the serial killer in this part. Really cocky and teasy. He's killed plenty of the Shiny Clan, including my mom and my dad," Star said, leading Lily to the tent where Vaporeon is. "Hey, Vaporeon problem. Viper may or may not have blinded this girl," Star said. Vaporeon flinched at the mention of Viper, but she grabbed some bandages and wraps them around her eyes and head. "I'm sorry for what happened. Star can help you around until you get used to the blindness," Vaporeon said, letting Star help her out. Star held her hands and guided her to her room. "Get out of here, Miles, before I force you," Darion said, getting a light ball ready to throw at Miles, making Miles start to back away. "Fine, I'll go. Goodbye, you son of a bitch," Miles said in a serious dark tone as he started to run away, fleeing into the Shining Forest. Miles starts to cry as he walks more around the Shining Forest, soon tripping and falling onto the ground, him crying even more. "What's the reason to cry?" Viper said as he jumped out of a tree. He pulled his hand on Miles' cheek. "Miles, right? I have something to show you," Viper said, grabbing Miles' arm and bringing him to his cave. Miles just follows Viper because at this point, what should he do? "This is my home. Look around. Take your time," Viper said as he looked at an old photo he had. Miles looked around a bit. Basket of berries, some old photos around the cave, a good leaf bed, and a knife on a rock table. "If you don't mind me asking, what was your past like?" Miles asked while looking at an old photo. Viper's smile disappeared as he looked at the wall. He forced a smile back on as he looked back at Miles. "Let me talk about my past. In the beginning, I had 3 friends. You might recognize some of the names. Vaporeon, Espo, and Diamond. Diamond was my best friend, and he fell in love with a girl named Spade. Pathetic, right? They at some point started dating. Yeah, boring as fuck. Espo hung out with Spade's brother, Quentin. Sometimes Vaporeon did too. Honestly, I hate Quentin. He talks shit about my sister. Then he tries to take my good friend, Vaporeon. Yeah, I honestly didn't give a fuck about Espo. Yeah, let me fast forward. Diamond convinced Vaporeon about dark species being shit, so yeah, they fucking ditched me. And I isolated myself for a room for a while. Let me fast forward somewhere. One day, I returned to the Shining Forest area, got rid of that Quentin bitch. Then more months later, I killed Diamond and Spade too. And then I had to share with you," Viper said, leaning on the wall, kinda panicking. "That's fucking crazy. Maybe I could provide some assistance. I could go for a little revenge," Miles said in a really calm-like tone. Viper started getting excited here and there. "Really? Yeah!" Viper yells as he starts to dance. Miles just stood there watching, not really knowing what to do at that moment. A presence was walking nearby on a cliff area, watching them. This presence jumped off the cliff in front of the cave, catching Miles and Viper's attention. "Hello, Miles and Viper," they said, wearing a black cloak. Miles takes a step forward towards her. "Who are you?" Miles asked in a serious tone. They stepped forward, taking off their hood. "Name's Aura, creation of the goddess species," Aura said very confidently and with a tint of seriousness. "Creation by a god, eh? They should have made you a boy," Viper said, kinda in a playful tone. Aura rolled her eyes as she pulled out a map from her cloak pocket. "Take this. It's not the best map, but it'll help you for what I need you to do," Aura said, handing Miles a map. Miles opens the map, seeing only the locations of Shining Forest and Draconic Kingdom. "Shining Forest to Draconic Kingdom? Interesting," Miles said, still holding the map. Viper perked at hearing about Draconic Kingdom. "Draconic Kingdom? Let me see that," Viper said as he tried to take a peep at the map, getting into Miles' personal space. "Get off," Miles said in a dead serious tone, pushing Viper off of him. Viper does manage to get back up. "I'd like you to go to Draconic Kingdom alone," Aura said, specifically looking at Viper. Viper looked at her annoyed. "What? That's not fair, bruh," Viper yelled, quite angry with Aura's proposition. Aura just goes and leans on a tree. "Viper, I know you way better than you think. I know you'll probably end up trying to kill the Draconic King," Aura said casually. "What do you mean? I don't want to kill him. I just want to get to know him better," Viper said flirty, licking his lips. Miles just looked at him with disgust, and Aura looked disappointed. She grabbed her 2 daggers from her cloak. "Take these with you, Miles. You may need them," Aura said, handing Miles a pair of daggers and her black cloak. Miles starts putting on his cloak and puts the daggers in the cloak pockets. He starts to make his way through Shining Forest, walking and walking, until he feels a strange aura from a nearby bush. He walks over to the bushes and moves them so he can see what is making the faint aura, and he finds a shadowy black rose. He feels hypnotized by it, and in the blink of an eye, he passes out. He hears someone, but he doesn't know who. They have a shadowy voice, but it's not very recognizable. Or is it? Back in this dream of a voided color of black, Miles walks around this black voided dream. He sees the owl. She looks very worried as she starts to look up at him. "Miles, you need to wake up before he finds you. Please, it's not safe. Please wake up," the owl said as she started to cry. Miles felt the emotion she was suffering with. He wanted to reach over and protect her, but there's not much he can do. Well, look what we got here," someone said in a shadowy, sadistic voice. Miles immediately recognized the voice, and so did the owl. They both kind of froze, and the owl tried to avoid contact. "Ah, the owl, trying to play the hero. Aren't you the enemy? Oh, that's because of me, isn't it?" they said teasingly. Miles realized who he was talking to, the god of corruption from the legends, Shady. "Miles, I guess all that reading was worth it." Shady said, kind of playfully. Shady grabs the owl as she refused to look at him. "Don't worry about her. She's just delusional," Shady said teasingly with a tint of seriousness, licking a tear off of her face. The taste of fear," Shady said coldly. Miles got really scared and worried, thinking about too many thoughts at the same time in his head. It was really hard to manage. He ended up waking up on the ground. When he got up, his eyes were black and red, and he could see the Draconic Kingdom from where he was sitting. Draconic Kingdom? Wait, how did I get here? He said to himself, pulling a small smile looking at the view. He starts to walk over to the kingdom, determined to figure out why he was sent here. He walked around a lot, making sure to hide that he's a dark species by keeping his hood on. Unfortunately, a Draconic Kingdom soldier noticed his eyes and started to get to the castle to tell the king. "Hey, Olivia, you okay?" a guard named Shane asked, kinda worried by her facial expression. "Where's King Dearlo? I saw something that I need to warn him about," Olivia asked, still panicking. "He should be on the balcony. Why? What's wrong?" Shane asked, concerned. Olivia immediately started running towards the king's room, where his balcony is located. Once Olivia got inside the room, she opened the doors to the balcony, seeing King Dearlo standing there, looking off the edge, enjoying the breeze. "King Dearlo, I may or may not have seen a dark species here," Olivia said, kinda hesitant. The moment King Dearlo heard the word dark species, he was not happy. "What? What do you mean? Where are they?" King Dearlo yelled furiously, growling in anger, walking around in circles repeatedly. "They're wearing a black cloak, and I think they're on their way to the castle," Olivia said, kinda quietly, saying the last part. King Dearlo started walking towards the weapon room, still growling in anger, grabbing a green pistol from the room. "Oh, that bitch will fucking pay. Get ready to meet your demise," King Dearlo said, putting the gun in his pocket. He started to march down the hallways, getting ready to meet this person. He looks out the window to see his guards sleeping, and this dark species sneaking in. King Dearlo walks towards the entrance to see who this dark species is. He stops him from walking anymore, though. "Who are you?" King Dearlo asked, pretty serious. King Dearlo stared at him, waiting for an answer. "Miles." Miles had thrown off his hood. King Dearlo's heart skipped a beat. That scar on his face, could it be from Shady? King Dearlo places a hand on his own scar, which is covered by his shirt. "Scarred by the god of corruption," King Dearlo said, almost putting a hand on Miles' scar, but he made sure to hold back. King Dearlo started walking away, Miles following next to him. King Dearlo looked at him. Something about him was different from others. It felt nice being around him. He never felt this way with anyone except his ex. King Dearlo tries snapping out of it. There's no fucking way he has feelings for a dark species. They make it to the balcony, and King Dearlo pulls out a book. "I've done a lot of research about the legends, and maybe I'll share some of what I know about the Rainbow God," King Dearlo said. He starts on with the story, and Miles, well, kinda zoned out for a while, until he heard about the beloved Rainbow God being banished and turned corrupted. Miles started paying attention, while sometimes zoning out. Someone was watching them from some distance, but at the castle. And that's the legends of the Rainbow God, King Dearlo said. Miles looked serious and kinda confused. And kinda cute. Nope, fuck no. King Dearlo just shook his thoughts out of his head. He's supposed to be killing dark species, not falling in love with them. He knew his duties as king, so he knew what he must do. As king of Draconic Kingdom, I must kill light and dark species. I must kill Darion, King Dearlo said, getting his axe ready to use. Miles hears his words and immediately turns around. King Dearlo slashes his axe, trying to hit Miles down with it. Miles falls on the ground, but manages to block the axe attack with his daggers. An arrow from an unknown source gets launched, aiming at King Dearlo. King Dearlo realizes and immediately catches the arrow before it hits him. An unknown person grabs Miles and flees. King Dearlo was busy with catching the arrow that he didn't notice where they escaped. Damn it, King Dearlo! King Dearlo yelled to himself, but at the same time, kinda glad that Miles escaped. Miles looked to see who saved him. It was Brianna, an old friend of his, but she looked different than usual. Brianna, is that you? What happened to you? Miles asked, looking at her. Brianna puts on a fake smile and giggles a little. I could ask the same, Mr. Dark Species, but let's just say life has a lot to offer. Good and bad. I'm sorry to hear that. I wish I could have done more. Brianna said, her smile slowly fading. Miles said, kinda silent at the last part. I guess I can share with you. So one day at a club, I kinda got lost, so I looked for my master. And well, I entered a room that I was not supposed to be in. My boss was talking to a girl who's famous for being a successful assassin, mafia boss, whore. Think about it. A girl named Nixie. So yeah, I got kind of scared seeing her talk to my boss. My boss kind of fucked up and never paid Nixie back. My boss has a gambling addiction. So basically, my boss works for Nixie, and if I didn't accept Nixie's offer to work for her, she would have killed my boss. I had no other choice. I don't really like guns, so I stick with bow and arrows, Brianna said, looking at Miles. Miles looks down, feeling bad for her situation. Damn, sorry to hear that, Miles said, still looking down. Miles gets ready to jump off the roof. I need to go. I'm heading back to Shining Forest. I hope one day to come back, Miles said as he started to get on the edge, ready to jump. Bye! Say hi to Darion for me, Brianna said as Miles got near the edge. Miles knew he couldn't talk to Darion after everything, and he fell backwards off the edge, getting prepared to land. As Miles was falling, he went face to face with King Dearlo, then landing and running away. King Dearlo runs over to his soldiers, ready to give him a command. Raymond, Shane, get them! King Dearlo commanded in anger. Yes, sir, they said as they left the castle, looking around for Miles. They soon found him and chased after him. Miles was quick, but they made sure to stay behind until they ran past a shop. Raymond was out of arrows, so he stopped at the shop to get some. Shane stayed close behind as Miles made it back to the Shining Forest. Shane grabs a walkie-talkie badge from his pocket. King Dearlo, he escaped in the Shining Forest. Should I retreat? Shane asked as he looked into the forest. No, follow him. He can't run away forever, King Dearlo said from the other connection of the walkie-talkie. Yes, sir, Shane said, walking into the Shining Forest. Shane makes sure to be careful while walking. He also puts his walkie-talkie badge on himself so he could access it better. As he was walking through the forest, he felt something zoom past him, snatching his sword and walkie-talkie badge. Then less than a second, a knife got thrown at him, making him fall to the ground. After opening his eyes, Shane looked at this person who was holding the walkie-talkie badge. And of course, it was Viper. Yet Shane doesn't know him. Viper gets ready to speak in the walkie-talkie. You must be the Draconic King, Viper said, speaking in the walkie-talkie. King Dearlo didn't recognize his voice, so he got a bit worried. Wait a damn minute, you're not Shane. Who the fuck are you? King Dearlo asked, starting to panic a bit. I don't think that's information I should share, darling, Viper said, kinda flirty. Leon noticed the flirting while King Dearlo was still panicking. Where the fuck is Shane? King Dearlo yelled in the walkie-talkie. Viper laughed a little as he looked down at Shane. I have your little soldier lying on the ground. The blood looks amazing as always, Viper said, loving King Dearlo's reactions to his sadisticness. Shit, no, this cannot be real, no. King Dearlo kept telling himself while still panicking. Shh, you can kiss your friend goodbye, or you can kiss me, Viper said, licking his lips, still flirting. Viper breaks the walkie-talkie with one of his hands and gets ready to kill Shane. Viper slowly walks over to him. This is about to get really bloody. I would feel bad about how much this will hurt, But you were chasing my good pal Miles, Viper said, getting too close to Shane. Viper rips off his flesh and skin with his teeth and consumes some of it, including his blood, afterwards leaving a bloody mess on him. Damn, I really got dirty. Guess I better wash up, Viper said as he found a lake to get washed up. Meanwhile, Miles was still running and later just continued to walk. He looked behind him, happy to see no one was behind him. Sometime later, Miles saw Viper leaning on a tree, Viper's hair pretty wet. Hello, Viper, why is your hair wet? Miles asked as he just stood there. Viper whips his hair around a bit. I took a quick bath, obviously. Why did you want to see it? Viper said, still flirty. Miles was disgusted by that idea. Hell no! I'm straight! Miles yelled in disgust. Viper runs a hand through his hair as he walks over. Now, tell me about the Draconic King. Is he cute? Viper asked, licking his tongue. Miles was absolutely disgusted by his behavior. Viper, he's 14. He's a minor, Miles said, hoping that would shut Viper up, but he only smirked. Well, you know what they say, age is just a number, Viper said, still with a smirk on his face. Miles' eyes twitched by his words. Age is just a— You're 9 years older than him, Miles said, angry with him. They were looking at each other until Aura decided to speak up. What are you guys doing? Aura asked, opening her eyes from meditating. Viper shrugs and Miles walks up to her. Did you send me up there to learn more about the Rainbow God? Miles asked curiously. Aura got off her rock and walked up to Miles. Yes, as a newer member Dark Species, it is good to be familiar with the Rainbow God, considering your scar, Aura said in a somewhat serious tone. If I ever see the Draconic King, I'll rip off his clothes, Viper said with a smirk, flirtingly licking his lips. Miles and Aura looked at each other, then back at him. Viper, what the fuck? Hell no! Miles yelled at him. Aura smacks Viper at the back of his head. Meanwhile, back at the Shining Clan, Darion was talking to Heart in her tent. And back at Darion's tent, Diao was crying in her bed. Diao was shaking and crying in fear, all while whimpering. Shady watches from the shadows and steps out, seeing Diao cry. You seem scared, not happy to see me, Shady teased as he walked closer to her. Diao hid more under her blanket, hoping he'd just go away. No need to be scared, I just want to talk, Shady said with a tint of seriousness. Diao's still scared and stays close to her blanket. 3 days. 3 days exact. Go find the Darkened Rose, Shady said. Diao still whimpering, repeating no over and over to herself. Shady covers her mouth and gets ready to speak again. If you don't do as I say, I'll kill your precious sister, Shady said, dead serious. He was losing his patience with Diao. Dila may protect her from my hypnotism, but she cannot protect her from death, Shady said, still dead serious. Diao could really hear the seriousness in his voice, making her even more scared. Shady noticed his tone. He just sighs and pats Diao on the head. I can taste his power. It'll be so powerful. Now, Diao, either agree or disagree and Darion dies, Shady said, a tint of frustration, his patience slipping. Diao stutters plenty, really scared of his presence. I'll do it. Please just go away, Diao said, still crying. Shady smiles, satisfied by her decision. Shady looks at her in the face, then walks away towards the shadows. Yeah, since I've caused you so much trouble, I'll leave you alone the 3 days that you have until the search, so enjoy your night, Shady said, fading into the shadows. Diao felt scared, but 3 nights without Shady felt like heaven to her. Diao went to sleep that night, this time feeling safe. In the morning, everyone got out of bed and met in the middle. Heart and Vaporia were standing and waiting for everyone. Hello, dear friends and family. I've gathered you to discuss the new incomers. Here they can find their roles to play in the clan. There's a few things they can do: cooking, fighting, berry picking, medic, and plenty more. Let me give you some examples based on who we already have. Umbro is a fighter, Star is a cook, Espo and I work on potions to heal poison. I recently taught him the recipe. Heart, Zaru, and Flala don't really have a specific role yet, so I try to help them find their roles. Vaporia said. Heart walks over to Darion and her friends. Let's find your roles in the camp. Any suggestions? Heart asked them, excited to discover their roles. I'm good at plenty of things, mostly cooking and fighting. Those I've been doing my whole life, Senshi said to them. Heart thought to herself a bit. Let me ask you, Senshi, which one are you more passionate about? Vaporia asked curiously. Senshi thinks to herself about it. Fighting. I always want to protect my friends and make sure they're safe from danger. I only know how to cook because I took culinary classes with... Never mind, just fighting is something I'm very passionate about. Senshi said in pride. Vaporia nods and gestures for Umbro to come over. Senshi, correct? I can teach you what to know with sword fighting. It can get good hits on enemies. Umbro said, showing off his sword. Nice to meet you. I'm happy to learn. Maybe I could teach you how to fist fight. Senshi said, holding a hand out to shake his. I don't need teaching. I don't need to know how to fist fight. I have a sword, Umbro said, hitting Senshi's hand away and walking away. He's prideful and he just lost his best friend. Don't take it personal. I'm sure you guys will get along, Vaporia said as she looked at the others. I can cook even though I can't see. I can still feel, hear, and smell, Lily said. Vaporia nodded and Zaru walked over. Star, I'd like you to help Lily out until she can do it on her own, Vaporia said as she starts walking over to Darion, DL, and Drake. Okay, Vaporia, Star said as he walked over to Lily. Vaporia looks at the others, thinking of what roles to give him. Darion, I'd like to teach you potion making. Is that okay with you? Vaporia asked. Darion nodded and Vaporia walked over to DL and Drake. I'd like you two to give cooking a try. Is that okay? Vaporia asked them. DL nodded and Drake gives a thumbs up. Okay then, let's get this show on the road, Hart said, dragging Drake and DL to the area where they cook their food. Star walks over to give them each a bucket of materials for cooking, including cooking ingredients. Cook whatever you desire. Have fun setting up your cooking pots, Star said as he walked away. DL and Drake looked at each other confused, then tried setting up their pots. Vaporia and Hart walked over to help out as soon as they are all set up. Zaru, keep an eye on them. We don't need anything set on fire, Vaporia said as she walked away. Okay, mother, Zaru said as he sat down on a nearby rock to watch. DL went through her food ingredients, thinking of what to add. Shady watches from the forest, making sure DL doesn't mess up. DL didn't exactly know what to use, so she just threw in a lot of random ingredients, and that for sure made Shady pissed off. Shady decided to sabotage by summoning a hidden shadow claw, hitting Lily's pot, making all the ingredients fall out. While everyone was distracted by the noise, Shady used a hidden shadow claw to remove some of the ingredients from DL's pot and add different ones that make it taste better. What the heck happened? I swear I did not touch it, Star said, very confused. He just brushed it off and got new ingredients to throw in. Shady nods with satisfaction and continues watching. And now DL is fanning the fire too much. At this point, she might end up burning the food. Fuck sakes, do I have to do everything? Shady said, frustrated. This time he summoned a hidden shadow claw to fan Drake's fire too much, and of course Drake was already fanning it too much. A few seconds later, his pot of food lit on fire, making DL stop what she's doing to look. Oh my fucking god, it's on fire! Drake yelled, backing away from his pot. Really? I never knew that your food was fucking on fire! Zaru yelled sarcastically. Hart heard the commotion and ran over with a bucket of water, throwing it on Drake's pot. Maybe cooking isn't your thing, Hart said awkwardly. Drake sighs a failure as he sits down on the ground. DL walks over to him and sits beside him. It's okay, Drake. You can't be good at everything, DL said calmly, trying her best to comfort him. They both just sit on the ground while Hart walks over to Star. How's it going over here? Hart asks, smelling the delicious food. Star gives a thumbs up while Lily nods. Lily is an excellent cook, even when blunt. She can work with things almost perfectly. You should try it, Star said, sounding impressed by Lily's cooking skills. Hart takes a spoon and takes a bite of the food she made. Hart immediately loved it. You're absolutely right, Star. This tastes amazing. Great job, Lily. You're definitely a keeper, Hart said happily. Lily smiled at the compliments she received. Meanwhile, Umbro and Senshi were in the training tents where she was learning how to use a sword. Impressive, Senshi. Your fighting skills are amazing. You'll be a master at sword fighting in no time. In the meanwhile, let's talk about your uniform. We wear pretty tight clothing so they don't distract our fighting. We have different kinds. You can pick certain kinds of sleeves and pants. Kinda know your choice, Umbro asked, looking at Senshi. Senshi looked at the clothing choices and made a decision. I'll go with long sleeves and long legging in the color dark, Senshi said. Umbro nods and gets her what she asked for, soon bringing the outfit that she chose. Great choice, kinda like mine, Umbro said as he grabbed the purple-handed sword, handing it to her. Take this. It'll help you in your fights. This won't help you every time, so this can be used just in case, Umbro said, smiling a little. Then she nods and gets everything on, including a belt for her sword. Thanks, Umbro. You're a great teacher, Senshi said, smiling as she left the tent. Umbro smiles as she leaves, liking her. Meanwhile, Espo and Dirion were in the potion-making tent, where they learn in the arts of potion making. I know we call it potion making, but we only know one kind of potion recipe, which is made by Vaporia. You see, there's a dark species named Viper who lives in this forest. He can poison someone by biting them, and Vaporia created this potion to heal anyone from his poison. She created this after someone died from his poison. Viper's poison is almost always fatal, so Vaporia made this to protect us from his poison. Espo said, showing the recipe and one of the bottles on it. Question, what if something happens to the recipe? Darion asked, kinda worried. Don't worry, Vaporia has the recipe memorized, so as long as Vaporia is alive, then we'll never lose the recipe. I'm still working on memorizing it. Well, and trying to make it. I suck at making potions, Espo said, putting a hand behind his head. Darion smiled and got up. So, Espo, tell me a bit more. What does the Shining Clan do with most of their days? Darion asked in curiosity. We all do plenty with our days. I spend mine practicing my magician magic. I help entertain others. It's very fun. And once a month, we go berry picking. Some of us stay to protect the camp, and it's usually done by taking turns. And of course, we usually bring a partner, Espo said as he grabbed an apple and starts eating it. Darion smiles and looks at the nearby photo. She picks it up and shows Espo. Hey Espo, who is this? Darion asked as she pointed to a guy with short, pinkish magenta hair. Espo immediately snatched the photo. The pink magenta-haired one was Viper years ago. He was different back then in the day. So kind of friends. I don't really know why he left. All I know is that my old friend named Diamond told me that he supported dark species. Diamond had to believe that dark species were evil, which now these... I think he's right. If you want to know more, you can ask Vaporia. She's the one in this clan that still cares about him. Well, not including his sister Flarla, Espo said, putting the photo back on the shelf near Vaporia's bed. Look, Darion, there are a lot of stories in the Shining Clan, most about old members here, ones who've died like Diamond, Spade, and Quentin, and ones who've left, like Viper. I'm not someone who really shares these stories. All I can tell you is relationships, like Diamond and Viper used to be best friends. When Viper left, Diamond became my best friend. Quentin liked Vaporia. Flarla also hung out with Vaporia plenty. Diamond and Quentin hated Flarla because she's related to Viper. Vaporia likes Flarla, and I didn't really have an opinion on her, Espo said to Darion. He looked at the potion recipe, then back at Darion. Would you like to know how Vaporia was able to test the potion? And what caused her to want to make it? Espo asked, holding the recipe in his hands. Sure, I'd love to know, Darion said. Espo sat next to Darion, getting ready to tell the story. Back a few years ago, before Diamond died, we were in our first fight with Viper. I didn't know how to fight, so I tried cheering on Quentin. Vaporia wasn't there at that time, and soon during the fight, Viper bit Quentin, poisoning him. Quentin was a strong draconic, but wasn't able to survive the poison. When Vaporia was arriving, Viper fled. Vaporia was heartbroken to see him dead, so she spent weeks trying to make the potion. She managed to get some of the poison into a bottle from Quentin's bite mark. She tested it on plants, and after a lot of experiments, one of them got rid of the poison. She wrote down the recipe, then later made a bottle. She told us that she'd have to test it on herself, so she went into the Shining Forest alone, searching for Viper, yelling for him. After plenty of calls, he jumped out of a tree, landing behind her. She requested him to bite her, to poison her. He laughed, thinking she was kidding, then realized that she was serious, so he pinned her at a nearby tree so she couldn't escape, then bit her at the neck. Pretty deep, not just poisoning her, but sucking her blood out of her too. After a few minutes when he was done, she drank the potion, and luckily she finished it before passing out from blood loss. After 10 minutes, I went looking for her, and luckily she was still alive. And I dragged her home. She told us that the potion was a success, which we were all happy about. That is the inspiration of it, Espo said, smiling. Darren was interested, then spoke up again. How do you know Vaporia's side of the story? Like the blood loss and Viper's arrival? Darren asked, kinda confused. She told me about it and how painful his bite was. I'm her only friend left, so she opens up to me a lot. Espo says, putting the recipe down next to him. Your clan has interesting stories. I'm really sorry about what's going on in your group, Darren said sympathetically. No need to apologize. I just hope one day Viper gets defeated, or at least changes, Espo said, looking back at the picture. As Darien begins to leave, Espo speaks up one more time. We're going to be going to the Shiny Forest to gather food in 2 days, so be prepared, cause Viper commonly spies on others. And if he sees you, I already know he's gonna try to kill you, Espo said, kinda worried about Darien's safety. Darien leaves the tent as the sun starts to set. She was gonna make sure she can do a good potion making tomorrow. Dial and Drake were just sitting on the ground chatting. So, shall we be helpful tomorrow? Drake asked, laying down to look at the stars. Dial lies next to him, also looking at the stars. Yeah, I'd love that, even if they're more like chores. If we do them together, it'd be more fun, Dial said with a small smile. Drake blushed a bit and just continued looking up at the beautiful stars. I'ma go to bed. Good night, Drake, Dial said as she started to get up and walk away. Good night, Dial, Drake said as he starts to get up and walk to Darien. Darien and Drake exchanged glances and smiles, then walked back to their tents. Senshi was laying in her bed while Drake sits up from his. What you thinking about? Drake asked with a smirk. Senshi sits up and stretches, looking at him afterward. Not much. Training with another fighter was really fun. Umbro is such an amazing guy, Senshi said as she continued stretching. Ooh, do you like him? Drake asked teasingly. Senshi nodded, then realized what he meant by that. What? No, come on, we're partners. Not like that! I'd like training partners, Senshi said, going back to laying down. So, what's up with you and Diao? Y'all haven't figured out your roles yet? Senshi asked. Drake sadly nods, remembering his incident of burning the food. Drake went to lay down in his bed too. And I know you don't want to hear this, but do you ever think about Miles? Drake asked, surprisingly concerned about Miles. Yeah, all the time. He was my best friend, and now I must stay strong for y'all, even if it means protecting you guys from him, Senshi said, not wanting to ever hurt Miles. Maybe we'll all one day wake up and this will all be a dream, Senshi said as she tried to go to sleep. Yeah, I hope to one day see him, so I can apologize, Drake said, also getting ready to go to sleep. Good night, Senshi. Please sleep well, Drake said as he closes his eyes. Good night, Drake. Thanks for being a great friend, Senshi said, trying to fall asleep. Senshi just couldn't stop thinking about Miles. What happened to his old self? Could he really now be a bad person? Why is he like this? She has so many questions in her head while laying down, so she goes through her drawer to grab a sleeping pill. She took it to help her sleep, and soon enough she did manage to fall. Senshi woke up in the middle of the night. She had a hard time falling back asleep after that. Wasn't the pill supposed to help? She decided to go outside and look at the beautiful stars. As she walked around, she saw a green little glowing creature with wings. It flew in the shiny forest, and Senshi decided to chase after it. She kept running and running until it stopped at a very bloody body. Senshi is in total shock by it, seeing a broken walkie-talkie nearby. Wait, this is a Draconic Kingdom badge. What is the Draconic Kingdom soldier doing here, walking in the shiny forest? Senshi said to herself, still scared about the dead body. The green light flies over and looks like it's a Draco. The Draco spoke in an unknown language. Senshi was kind of confused, so the Draco tried thinking of how to tell Senshi. The Draco decided to fly around the broken Draconic Kingdom badge that was on the ground. Draconic Kingdom, are you saying that I should go there? Senshi asked in curiosity. The Draco thinks to itself and nods. It flies in the direction of where the Draconic Kingdom is located. Senshi grasps the shattered pieces of the badge and starts to follow the Draco. They walk through the forest until someone blocks their path. And where do you think you're going? Viper asked, kinda curiously, blocking their path. The Draco sneaks away to the ground, then just flies into a nearby bush. Viper noticed the broken Draconic Kingdom badge in Senshi's hand. Wait a minute, why do you have that? Viper asked curiously, no sign of cockiness. Senshi sighs and decides to tell him. Well, I was gonna go to Draconic Kingdom. I was kinda told to. Apparently something horrible happened. Viper thinks to himself, then gestures to Senshi to follow him. Follow me. I can figure out how to get that fixed. that can be used to contact the Draconic King. Come on, and make sure to be quiet. Senshi nods and follows Viper through the shiny forest. They soon make it back to Viper's cave, and Senshi sees Miles sleeping on the ground. Senshi feels sad just to see Miles, knowing that their friendship was probably over. Viper noticed and felt empathetic towards Senshi. Look, Senshi, I'm sorry about you and Miles. Trust me, I know what it's like to lose a friend. Look, maybe fixing the Draconic Kingdom badge can help distract you. Viper said quietly, walking over to his desk. Senshi follows and places the pieces on Viper's desk. Viper grabs some tools to get a better look at the pieces and some to use to fix it. I don't really know how fixing this will go. I'm not really an engineer, Viper said, still investigating the pieces. Senshi takes a look at the pieces and, of course, the tools. I took engineering classes at school. I think I could fix it back at the camp, Senshi said, still looking at the pieces. Viper nods and grabs a little bag and puts the pieces and tools in the bag. He gets up and hands the bag to Senshi. Make sure to return the tools once you're done, Viper said with a small smile. Senshi nods as she starts to leave. Senshi takes one good look at Miles, then walks away. Viper waves her goodbye, then he goes to lay down for the night. Senshi starts to make her way back to Shining Clan territory, holding the bag in her hands. Senshi bumps into someone, making her fall on the ground. I'm sorry, it's really hard to see in the dark, Senshi said as she got up, making sure everything was in her bag. Wait, Senshi, what are you doing out here? Vaporia asked, making sure Senshi was okay. Senshi gets nervous, realizing she got caught. Before she could say anything, Vaporia speaks up. You should head back to the Shiny Clan camp before he finds you. There's a girl in the forest who likes being up at night and walks at night are dangerous, Vaporia said, looking around to see if anyone is nearby. Okay, and don't worry, I'll be safe. I have good fighting experience, Senshi says as she starts to walk back. She makes it halfway, then thoughts it back to herself. Would she ever meet Miles again? Senshi looked back, then thought again. Maybe it's best to forget about Miles since he probably doesn't care about her anymore. Senshi got back to the camp and went back to her tent. She got to her room and put the shattered pieces of the badge on her desk. Time to get this fixed, right? Senshi said, investigating the pieces. She carefully places each piece together, one piece, one at a time, very gently. She ends up passing out from being tired. Well, trying to save the Draconic King. Even though you're like immortal, I can't let that happen, Shady said, using a shadow claw to grab Senshi and put her in her bed. He looks back one last time, then disappears in the shadows. The next day, the morning arrived. Drake got up and looked at Senshi's desk, seeing the shattered pieces. He walks over to Senshi and woke her up. Senshi, what is that on your desk? Drake asked, looking at the shattered badge at her desk. Senshi just ran over and put it all back in her bag. Oh, nothing at all, Senshi said, putting the bag in her desk drawer. Drake was suspicious, but decided to not question too much. So, Senshi, tomorrow is the berry picking. How do you feel about that? Drake asked while walking with Senshi. Well, I don't know. Honestly, I don't really want to talk about it, Senshi said, holding her arms together, still walking. Hey, Senshi, are you okay? Umbro asked, walking over to her. Senshi just looked down and walked past him, walking to the training tent. Umbro looks at Drake, then follows Senshi to the training tent. Psst, hey Drake. Want to help me make baskets for the berry picking? Dial agreed to help me too, Flairla whispered to Drake. Sure, that sounds fun, Drake said. Flairla grabbed his wrist and starts making her way to her tent. They soon arrive and Dial was still helping make baskets. Flairla guides Drake to a specific spot and places him down there, then grabs him a basket of making material. Have fun and no fire, Flairla said, then walked away. Drake tried to figure out how to make the basket, and Dial was doing a great job at making them. Dial, do you know how to make baskets? Drake asked, still struggling on the one he was trying to work on. I'm not really the best one to ask. I have plenty of skills that I'm not too familiar with. I guess crafting is one of them, Dial said, still working on her basket. Zaru enters the room with a flaming stick. Hey guys, want to go in the forest and set things on fire with me? Zaru asked, looking at Drake and Dial. Dial shook her head and continued working on the baskets. Sure, why not? Not like I have anything else to do, Drake said, getting up to follow Zaru. They sneak past the Shining Clan members, then into the forest. Zaru throws his flaming stick on a nearby tree, which lights on fire. Drake also throws a flaming stick on another tree nearby. Wow, this is fun, Drake said. A nearby branch break, making Zaru look around. Shit. No. Drake, we need to get out of here now, Zaru said, panicking, still looking around, and got close to Drake. Drake, do you know... By any chance, do you know how to fight, or are you good at running? No, I don't fight or go on runs, Drake said calmly, but a bit worried by Zaru's tone. Someone steps out of the bushes, having his knife ready. Well, look at these arsonists. You guys really have the guts to burn my forest. assholes, Viper said, anger with his voice. He started to walk closer, looking at Zaru and Drake. Zaru, who's this? Drake asked, curiously and a bit worried. Zaru laughs it off to himself. Hey, that guy's name is Viper, and he's known to be a killer, and we should get going. Zaru said hesitantly, then he started to back away. Viper runs and blocks his path immediately. You don't get to leave after setting the trees on fire. Viper said casually, then grabs a bucket of water and throws it on the fires. He takes a cigarette out of his pocket, lights it, and smokes it. Drake just watches while Zaru looks around for a good escape route. This shit hits real hard, Viper said to himself as he closes his eyes and smokes the cigarette. Zaru sneaks away, gesturing to Drake to follow. Then they both just sneak away on their way to the van. My mom tells me that Viper smokes to calm down, so maybe that's what he's doing. Lucky for us, that means he doesn't feel like killing today, Zaru said. Drake sighs in relief, and they both head back to the Shining Clan territory. Once Zaru and Drake get back, Vaporia walks over to them, angry. What the fuck were you guys thinking? Sorry, you can't influence people to burn shit, Vaporia said, still angry. When Drake was about to say something, Zaru puts a hand up, signaling for him not to talk. Don't worry, the old hag took a smoke, Zaru said. Vaporia got even more angry. Zaru realized what he said and tried to play it. Viper? Zaru, what the fuck? Vaporia yelled, surprised to hear that they encountered Viper. I have to go, help Senshi with something, Drake said, quickly walking away. Drake goes on his way to the training tent until he sees DL near it. Hello, DL. Are you gonna train at the training tent? Umbra walks over with an angry tone. No, she's gonna train against me outside, on that path in the forest near the lake, Umbra said, starting to walk in the direction. DL and Drake follow. DL a bit scared. Maybe we do it somewhere else. I don't do well with water. I kind of don't like it, DL says, still sounding scared. Umbro rolls his eyes and continues walking. Drake and DL still following. They soon arrive near the lake. DL stays a good distance from it, then Umbro pulls her over near the lake as he gets a sword ready. As I know, you're a dark species, so I'm not gonna go easy on you, Umbro said, dead serious. DL gets a bit scared by the water. She also has a lack of fighting experience, but she still agrees. DL tried throwing a punch, but Umbro dodges. And when she throws another, he kicks her down and uses his foot to pin her to the ground. Wow, you're weaker than I thought, Umbro said, still keeping her on the ground. DL struggles to get up, then Umbro stomps on her, making her in more pain. Drake was too scared to do anything, so he backed off and ran away. You know what? I could tell you're afraid of water. Let's see how this goes, bitch, Umbro said in a dark, cold voice, grabbing DL by her hair and putting her head underwater, trying to drown her. DL struggles to get out of the situation since she's not used to fighting. Umbro felt a random bang of pain in his heart and he lets go of DL, stepping back and falling. Umbro struggles really hard to breathe and soon he passes out. DL gets really scared looking around. Couldn't let my gem die that easily, now can I? Shady said as he came out of the shadows, walking over to DL. DL backed away, still on the ground. Shady sat next to DL, playing with her tail. Remember, tomorrow's the day you look for the Darkened rose, and remember the consequences if you don't listen, Shady said, still playing around with her tail. DL twitches and still scared. Shady soon stops and gets up. I'll be on my way. Don't get yourself killed, Shady said in a serious tone, disappearing into the shadows. DL just sits there, and Umbro finally wakes up, still breathing pretty hard. What the fuck did you do? Umbro yelled at DL. DL was a bit scared of his seriousness. I don't know. You were trying to drown me, DL said quietly before Umbro interrupts her. Of course I fucking did, you monster! Umbro yells as he's about to kick DL. He slips on the ground. DL gets away and runs away. Umbro just stays down, laying on the ground. Miles notices Umbro as he walks out of the forest towards him. Umbro notices him and gets up quickly. You're the one who killed Jodo! Umbro yells, getting his sword out. Miles looks at him, then puts his daggers down. I've come in peace. Put your sword down, or may I have to talk to you in the hard way, Miles said, kicking his daggers a few feet away. Umbro takes a deep breath, then puts his sword down, also kicking it a few feet away. Miles walks over to Umbro until he's about 2 feet away from him. So, Umbro, I've heard that you hang out with Senshi. Is that true? Miles said in a calm tone, but with a glare. Umbro nods, and Miles puts a hand up, interrupting him before he could speak. So, Umbro, what have you seen her? Is she a friend of yours? Miles said in a pretty angry tone. Umbro notices but still speaks. Yes, she's a good friend of mine, and I have a feeling we may be getting closer, Umbro said, making Miles snap and grab him by the collar, pinning him to a tree. Listen here, you little shit. Senshi's my friend, not yours. You better not get too close or I will kill you, Miles said in a deadly cold tone with a very angry, deadly glare, holding on by the collar real tightly. Miles, as much as you threatened me, you were kicked out of the Shining Clan. You can't do shit to interfere with me and Senshi's relationship, Umbro said, trying to hold a cocky smile in a brave voice. Miles growls loudly and throws Umbro to the ground. Then before Umbro gets up, Miles puts a foot on Umbro, pinning him to the ground. You think that you can defeat me? Absolutely not. I've gotten way better at fighting. Don't forget that I'm a dark species. I could easily kill you, Miles said in a sadistic voice, now with a smirk. He gets his paw off of Umbro and walks over to grab his daggers. Take this as a warning. If I were you, I'd stop being friends with Senshi. Goodbye, Miles said, walking into the forest, soon gone. Umbro walks over to grab his sword, then makes his way back. He thinks he can tell me what to do? Hell no. I don't care about what he says. I'm staying friends with Senshi, Umbro says to himself as he continues walking back to the Shining Clan area. Umbro makes it back and walks over to Senshi. Hey Senshi, how did solo training go? Umbro asks. Senshi gave him a smile. It went well. I was working on agility and sword fighting, and now I'm gonna head back to the tent and work on something. Senshi enters her tent to work on the draconic walkie-talkie badge, trying to fix every little piece. The green Draco flies over to Senshi, sitting on her desk. Hello, how are we gonna The Draco was talking as it flew to Senshi's bag, searching for a snack, and soon ate a yummy berry. Oh, hungry? Want me to cook you something? Senshi asks, gathering ingredients and a cookbook. She places it on her desk, and the Draco points to a berry soup with some rare seasonings that are mostly found in Draconic Kingdom. Are there any of these in Shining Forest? Senshi asks. The Draco flies out of the tent while Senshi follows it. The sun was starting to set as Senshi entered the forest alone. Senshi walks far into the forest, starting to get lost. The Draco flies ahead, making Senshi chase it. As Senshi was chasing the Draco, she bumps into someone, falling on the ground. She looks up to see Viper looking at her. Senshi, what are you doing out here at night? Viper asked, worried, holding out a hand to help Senshi up. Senshi takes his hand as he helps her up. Thanks, Viper, and I know this is a real weird question, but where the heck is your shirt? Senshi asks, kind of embarrassed. Viper smiles a bit from the question. Well, I tend to let the fresh air touch my abs, and sometimes my whole body, Viper said in a flirty tone. Senshi giggles a little. Maybe I should do that too, but again, that could be weird and awkward, Senshi said, pretty embarrassed, playing with the bottom of her shirt. Don't worry, I won't judge. Plus, I'm gay, so no need to worry, Viper said, giving her a friendly smirk. Senshi takes off her shirt, enjoying the breeze hitting her. Viper gives her a friendly smile, and Senshi smiles back. See? Not that bad. Anyways, why are you out here? Viper asked, concerned about Senshi going alone at night. Senshi shows the cookbook, and Viper understands right away. I do have some of those berries. They're a recipe to an antidote that heals others from the poison that I wield. Viper gestures to Senshi to follow him, walking through the forest. Okay, let's be quick. Miles will be back any second, Viper said, grabbing a little bag, putting some berries in the bag. Here, take these. You should probably head back to the Shining Clan before anyone notices. I'll bring you back quickly, Viper said, handing Senshi the bag. Senshi agrees to Viper's idea to bring her back in the area quickly. Viper picks up Senshi and dashes through the forest really fast, soon making it to a bush near the Shining Clan area. Here, I can't be seen right now. I hope you can give me a visit when you go berry hunting tomorrow, Viper said, taking a cigarette out of his pocket, waving Senshi goodbye as he walked away, smoking the cigarette. Senshi sneaks back to her tent, where Drake is already sleeping in his bed. The Draco comes out of nowhere, flying around with a screwdriver, placed it next to the walkie-talkie bed. The Draco saw the berries and was so hungry that he just ate all of the berries. Senshi was surprised and laughed a bit, getting back to work on the walkie-talkie. This is almost done. I should be able to finish this by tomorrow night, Senshi said, putting the tools down and laying down in bed. The green Draco hides in Senshi's bag and goes to sleep, and soon it was the morning, the day of the berry picking. Wake up, everyone! It's berry picking season! Heart yelled to everyone as she tried carrying so many baskets. Star ran over to help her. Careful, sis, you're gonna end up dropping everything, Star said, helping Heart place down all the baskets. The other Shining Clan members all walked over to them. Darion and her friends also walked over. Dial had a terrible feeling about this. Espo hands over Vaporia his wand, which has a built-in mic. For God's sake, why is this so loud? Vaporia said as she turned the volume down. Hello, everyone. As your leader, I'll announce who will be staying with me to protect the camp, and the others who will go berry hunting. Vaporia said, getting a list out of her pocket. The ones who will be staying with me are Star, Lily, and Flala. Vaporia said, giving the wand back to Esp. That means Darion, Dial, Senshi, Drake, Umbro, Heart, Zaru, and Espo will go into the forest. Get a partner and go gather berries. Vaporia said, starting to grab a basket for each berry hunter. Drake was a bit nervous considering his last encounter with Viper. Everyone grabbed their baskets and started adventuring into the forest. Vaporia quickly stopped Darion. Darion, please be careful. I know Viper may try to kill you, so take this antidote. It'll help you heal from the poison. Vaporia said, handing Darion a bottle of antidote. Thanks, Vaporia, and don't worry, I'll be safe. Darion said as she ran into the forest. Senshi and Drake traveled together. Umbro, Zaru, and Espo traveled together. Darion and Dial traveled together. Good luck, berry hunters! Darion and Dial had a great time traveling together, walking through the forest, until Dial heard a voice. Remember what you must do, Dial, or else. Shady said, making sure only Dial could hear him. Dial discovered the location of the Darkened Rose, so she grabbed Darion's wrist and pointed to a direction. Let's go this way. I'm sure there's good berries over there, Dial said quietly and in a scared tone. Darion gets worried, but follows Dial, and they start walking a long time. Meanwhile, Senshi and Drake were having a great time collecting berries. Senshi started to climb a tree, while Drake just waited below. Since it's hot out, Senshi decided to take off her shirt and throw next to her basket. Drake just blushed a bit. Senshi, please be careful. How long may this take? I'm really scared about a killer here, Drake said, remembering his encounter with Viper. Senshi throws some berries down into her basket. Quit being a crybaby. It only takes a minute. You can also go pick berries, Senshi said, dropping more berries into her basket. Well, look who it is. The bitch who tried to burn down my fucking forest, Viper said, holding a cigarette while death glaring Drake. Viper breaks the cigarette between his fingers, then drops and stomps on it, getting rid of possible flammable parts. Viper takes out his knife from his pocket. I'm gonna make sure you don't cause any more arson once I fucking kill you, Viper said, spinning his knife while walking over to Drake. Drake starts running away, and Viper soon starts running too. Drake yelled, hoping someone would hear him as he continued running. Viper was really fast and easily caught up and blocked his path. I gotta be honest, you're definitely the opposite of hot. Like, I don't understand how you got friends. You're like a coward and pathetic as fuck, Viper said, just thinking to himself. Drake felt pretty offended by that and just looked down as he started to cry. Viper was surprised and laughed so much. Oh my god! No way you're actually crying. You're even more pathetic than I thought. No wonder you're such a power. I bet no girl would want to date someone like you. You act like such a fucking wimp, Viper said, laughing so much. Drake started crying more, and Viper just kept laughing at him. Soon after, another laugh was heard, and soon Miles stepped out of a bush. Drake, long time no see. I never knew I'd get to see you cry. Like you made me cry in fucking high school, Miles said, back to being serious. Viper continued to laugh even more. Luckily for you, Viper's not actually in a killing mood. You're welcome. I shared some of my beer with him, and now he's crazy, Miles said, still glaring at Drake. Miles looked around a bit, then glares at Drake more intensely. Where the fuck is Senshi? Miles asked, not looking for excuses. Drake hesitates to answer, but seeing Miles' death glare, he decided to. She's in a tree grabbing berries, Drake said, terrified of Miles. Miles turned around, started to walk away. Miles looked around while walking on Drake's footsteps, and soon he sees two baskets on the ground next to a tree. He breathes in and breathes out, kind of nervous, and speaks up. Senshi, I know you're up there. Get down, I want to talk, Miles said in a serious but somewhat calm tone. Senshi immediately hears him and stays up in the tree, trying to be as quiet as she can, hoping Miles wouldn't think she's up there. Miles looks down, seeing her shirt next to her basket. Senshi, I already know you're up there. I can see your damn shirt next to your basket, Miles said, looking back up again. Senshi realizes that he knows that she's up there, so she just stays put, kinda scared to talk to him. Miles really starts to get angry and impatient. Senshi Kimura, get the fuck down there before I force you, Miles yelled. Senshi just stays put. The Miles grabs his dagger and gets it ready to throw up. Senshi starts to get scared the second she realizes what Miles was planning. Miles, you fucking wouldn't, Senshi said to herself, staying in the tree. Miles throws up his dagger, almost hitting Senshi, and then when Senshi tried to dodge it, she fell out of the tree. Miles puts his arms out, catching her as she falls. Put your damn shirt on, Miles said, looking away, blushing a bit. Miles puts her down, and Senshi walks over to a basket and realizes that Drake was missing. Shit, where's Drake? Senshi freaked out, trying to look around. Senshi grabs her shirt and quickly puts it on, then grabs her and Drake's baskets. Miles notices and follows her. Senshi, I honestly think that he ran away like a fucking coward, Miles said, still following her. Senshi ignores them and keeps walking. Just shut up, you're not the Miles I know. I miss him, I miss you, Senshi said, at the verge of crying. Miles looks shocked by her claim, and he just glares at her. Well, the old Miles is gone. Deal with it, Miles said, not giving a shit about it. Senshi just looked down, crying a bit. Miles felt a bit of sympathy towards her, and felt bad, but doesn't show it. I fucking hate this new Miles. You're not my best friend. He's gone. Have a good life. Goodbye, Miles, Senshi said while crying, running away soon after. Miles tries to stop her, but something stopped him from doing that. Fuck! Miles yelled to himself, walking away in the forest. Zaru sees Miles. Miles looks at him, then continues walking through the forest. Meanwhile, with Dial and Dirion, they were still walking through the forest. Dial was still really stressed. Soon, Dial felt a faint darkened aura, meaning they were close to the darkened rose. Dirion saw it and walked up to it. Look at this flower, Dial. It seems strange. What do you think, Dial? Dirion said, looking closely at it. Dial doesn't move close to it, but then she hears Shady's voice. Dial, give the beautiful rose a touch. A nice soft touch on it, or else. Shady whispered in a calm voice. Dial hesitates a lot, then walks forward a bit. Shady gives Dial a push from behind, making Dial get closer to the rose. Dirion saw Dial get closer and saw how much she was shaking. Hey, you okay, Dial? Dirion said, looking at Dial sympathetically. Dial, knowing what Shady will do, walks up to the rose, sitting right next to it. Dial slowly moves her hand to it, then she freezes. Shady makes the Shadow Claw grab her arm and forces her to touch the rose. Dial felt a very dark, shadowy aura around her, and soon she was surrounded by it, not able to be seen. Dirion started to get really scared. She tried going to Dial, but the aura kept her away, and soon the aura vanished, but Dial looked different than before. Dial, are you okay? What happened to you? Dirion asked, really worried. Dial started laughing, eyes open, showing his black and red eyes. Finally, after so long, I've contained so much power together. Damn, using Dial was the perfect strategy. And now the final take back was mine, Light. And call me Shadow Dial, it sounds badass, Dial said, levitating from the ground. Who are you, and what did you do to Dial? Dirion asked, serious and scared. Shadow Dial rolled his eyes, then realized Dirion's question. Oh, you want to know who I really am? Well, my true name is Shady, the god of corruption, Shadow Dial said, landing on the ground, walking towards Dirion. You know that gem belongs to me, and I can't have it out of my control, so you know I have to get rid of you, Shadow Dial said, getting a dark energy ball ready to throw. Dial, I know you're still in there. I know you can resist it. Don't let Shady get the best of you, please, Dirion said, trying to hold his hand. Shadow Dial hits her hand away with his tail. As Shadow Dial tries killing Dirion, he stops, something holding him back. Fuck, Dial's being a little feisty, I see. Well, I guess I could play your game, Shadow Dial said, throwing his dark energy ball in the sky, exploding up there. Dirion backed away. Too much. She tripped backwards, almost falling off a cliff, until Shadow Dial caught her. I'll be nice. 40L. I have my reasons, Shadow Dial said, throwing Dirion away from the cliff onto the ground. Dirion gets back on her feet, pretty confused. Come on, Dirion, let's just get these berries and head back to the Shining Clan territory, Shadow Dial said, picking up his basket, signaling Dirion to follow. Dirion grabbed her basket and starts following Shadow Dial. But what she didn't know is that the darkened rose continued to gather more power throughout time. Looks like Dirion's inside. Perfect time to strike, Viper said, hiding in a bush near Dirion. When Shadow Dial leaves sight, Viper walks out of the bush, eyes on Dirion. Why, hello, Dirion, right? Name's Viper, pleasure to meet you. You can call me the sexy snake, Viper said, shaking Dirion's hand, then running a hand through his hair. Dirion takes a step back, confusing Viper a bit. You're Viper? The one who murdered Heart's parents? Dirion asked, still keeping a distance. Viper's smirk disappears quickly, discovering Dirion knows the story. Oh, so you know me, eh? Damn, never expected Heart to tell some stupid newcomer. Do you even know what they did to me? Do you know what it's like to be betrayed by your best friend? Do you know what it's like to be alone for 6 years? No, I didn't think so, Darion. You're real pathetic. Viper said in an almost angry tone, circling Darion. Viper takes a step closer, glancing at Darion. Bet you've never been in a fight, let alone bleed, Viper said as he stopped in front of her. Viper walked behind Darion, towering over her. And I'll be the first to show some red on you, Viper said in a dark tone. And before Darion could react, Viper wrapped his arms and tail around Darion, trapping her, and soon he bit her neck deep. Ah, get off of me! Darion yelled, trying to get loose, but Viper had a strong, tight grip on her. Darion started to cough and get lightheaded, and soon she was losing consciousness. Oh, what are you doing to me? Darion said in a quiet and weak voice, and soon she couldn't fight back anymore, passing out. Once Viper noticed her lose consciousness, he took his mouth out of her neck and dropped her on the ground. I hope you like the feeling of my poison, cause you'll be dying very soon, Viper said, sitting down on a nearby rock, and soon enough, Shadow DL walks over, looking at Darion, then at Viper. Viper, what did you do? I need Darion alive, Shadow DL said, checking on Darion. Viper was surprised by Shadow DL's words. What do you mean? Don't you hate Darion? Why do you want her alive? Viper asked, very confused. Look, Viper, I need her alive. DL still... Whatever, just get rid of the poison now, Shadow DL said in an angry and serious tone. Viper digs into his pocket and grabs a potion, tossing it to Shadow DL. That's a potion made by the Shining Clan leader. It can cure poison, Viper said. Shadow DL held Darion's head up, opening the cap of the poison and helping getting it in her mouth, slowly drinking it. Viper disappeared into the forest, leaving Shadow DL and Darion alone in the area. Darion started to regain consciousness and looked at Shadow DL. Thank you, DL, Darion said as she slowly got up. Shadow DL helped her get back on her feet. Shadow DL picked up Darion off the ground. You're still intoxicated. I'll just carry you back, Shadow DL said as he started walking back to the Shining Clan area. Shadow DL moved elegantly and silently through the forest, soon making it back to the Shining Clan, the first to make it back. Vaporia looked up and noticed them, both of them. Viper poisoned her from behind. I managed to give her a poison healing potion, but she may need some rest, possibly more, Shadow DL said, handing Darion over to Vaporia. Vaporia carries Darion to her side, placing her in her bed. There, I'll watch over you, dear. You need to be more careful. If Diao wasn't there, you could have died, Vaporia said, sitting on her bed, watching Darion sleep. Shadow DL entered the room, looking at Darion, then at Vaporia. I know you've noticed my appearance, Vaporia. Yes, I may look different, and you know that I am up to something, but remember one small thing. I can easily protect your clan from Viper, so don't try to get rid of me, Shadow DL said, sitting next to Vaporia. I'll do anything to protect the clan. Considering you saved Darion from Viper, I trust that you can do the same with the others, Vaporia said, but knowing she can't fully trust him. Darion decides to leave the room, going over and talking to Heart. Understandable. I am seen as an enemy, considering that I'm a dark species, Shadow DL said, laying down. Vaporia lays down next to Shadow DL. Lots of people see Viper as just an enemy, a sadistic killer with no heart. Look, I was there when he left. Viper was a good person until Diamond left him. Until we left him. I just wish I could have changed things. Diamond convinced me that dark species were bad and evil, but truly, it just depends on the person, Vaporia said, feeling kinda sad about it. Shadow DL nods, listening to her talk. Look, Vaporia, everyone makes mistakes. You just need to learn from them and redeem yourself. How can someone relate to this? You know, betrayal, loneliness, suicidal thoughts. I had a friend named Krista who, well, left me because I made a fucked up mistake. I lost all hope in myself, so my brokenness got the best of me, and now I'm, well, somewhat people fear, Shadow DL said, laying on his side, looking away from Vaporia. Vaporia got up and went to her dresser, taking out a gun. Honestly, I was gonna kill myself, but there were some things in life that you should be happy about, like friends, family, and happy memories, Vaporia said, putting the gun back. Shadow DL still laid down. I don't have any friends or family, Shadow DL said, still laying there. Vaporia looked down at him, then walked over and sat next to him. That's not true. You have me and Darion, and if you ever need someone to talk to, I'll always be here. As the leader of the Shining Clan, I'll treat everyone right, Vaporia said, sitting next to Shadow DL. He sits back up, looking at Vaporia. Thanks. You don't know how much that means to me, Shadow DL said, getting up and walking into the night. He goes to the cliffside, looks up at the skies. He takes out his flute and starts playing it. Shadow DL still looks afar, looking at the beautiful stars, then walking away back into the forest, soon seeing Aura play her guitar peacefully at the lake. Hey, nice music you got there, Shadow DL said, sitting next to Aura. Aura stops playing her guitar and looks at Shadow DL. You're still in control of Shady, but he's always in there. But you managed to be yourself. Why? Aura asked, staying closer to Shadow DL. He just sighs, looking into the lake. I still have mortality left. Even though it can be hard to believe, Shady, Diao, known to be the ones others fear. Shady takes good control of me, but he can't control me every second of the day. Shadow Diao said, looking into the waters, a tear falling from his face. I tried to stop him. I tried to get the rainbow gem away from him, but I didn't realize he corrupted Miles too. I didn't realize what that scar was until it was too late, Shadow Diao said as he was crying. Aura knew that Diao tried her best to save others from Shady, even if it puts herself in risk, even if Shady has more control of her. The Darkened Rose is still getting stronger. Who knows what'll happen next? Diao or Shadow Diao, I'll make sure Shady doesn't kill you, okay? Aura said. Shadow Diao looks away. Shady wouldn't kill me. He treats me like his little pet. He knows how much I love Darion, so he takes advantage of that by threatening to kill her if I didn't listen to him. Shadow Diao said, looking back at the lake. Aura nodded in response. I know there are plenty of places in this world. Draconic Kingdom known for being the most iconic one. Maybe we can learn more about Shady and free you from his hypnotism permanently. Aura said, still sitting next to Shadow Diao, giving him a slight smile. Tomorrow's a new year. Maybe it'll be the year that I'm free. I'll keep holding on to hope until I'm free. Until he's defeated. Shadow Diao said, still standing up. Aura watches as Shadow Diao walks away. After Shadow Diao gets out of her sight, she gets up and starts heading back to Viper's cave. She pushes the rocks away from the entrance and walks in, and of course puts the rock back. She sees Viper and Miles in the cave doing their own thing. Hey Aura, where have you been? You've been gone for days, Viper asked, sitting on the ground, stretching his legs. Miles then walks over to Aura. Hey, the Draconic King told me the story of the Rainbow God. I'd like to learn more, but I don't know where to go, Miles said. Viper perking up hearing him mention the Draconic King. Look, Miles, I don't know what you should do next, but I'm sure you'll discover your next journey, Aura said, sitting down on her bed. Viper gets up and walks over to Miles. Maybe you should check out Whiskey Village. They've got legends older than the Rainbow God. I've heard that there's a god stronger than the goddess species, Viper said, grabbing a map from his Legends of the Rainbow Gem book. Now this is a map that'll help you get there. Thanks to Aura for getting me this book from Draconic Kingdom. Oh, and you'll take me with you. I can't just stay here forever, Viper said, handing Miles the map. Aura looks at both of them. Guess you found your new step, Miles. Oh, and Happy New Year, Eve, Aura said, laying down to go to sleep. Viper lays down in his bed too, and so does Miles, and soon they all drift to sleep. Meanwhile, Darion and Shadow Diao were having a chat in their tent. Look, Darion, I know that you may seem that everything is fine, but it's not. Dark species lurk under Shady's control, even your friend Miles. I think we should go to Shadowfall Village to learn more. It's known to be the old home of the Rainbow God. And another place we should explore is Draconic Kingdom. I know that place holds many legends, Shadow Diao said, taking out a map. Darion nods and looks at the map. Maybe we should go to Shadowfall Village. The Rainbow God is the original holder of the Gem of Light and Dark, right? Darion asked. Shadow Diao nods in response. Okay, Shadowfall Village it is. We can leave in the morning. A new year, yeah? Shadow Diao said, walking to his bed and laying down. Darion does the same, walking to her bed and laying down. Meanwhile, Senshi is in her room, and soon she fixes the Draco walkie-talkie. Hello? Senshi said, hoping for an answer. At Draconic Kingdom, the Draconic King immediately wakes up, then looks at his Draco walkie-talkie at the table. Who are you? Darlo asked, very confused but scared. Senshi responded with her name. Darlo, listening to her explanation about finding the Draco walkie-talkie broken in the forest. Interesting. Well, thank you very much, Senshi. You may not realize it, but you saved my life, so thanks a lot. I'll do anything to repay the favor. Name's Darlo. Darlo Mayleaf, Darlo said, forcing a little smile. You're welcome, Darlo, and don't worry about repaying the favor. I'm just happy to help, Senshi said happily. Darlo smiled, loving her happiness in her voice. I love your voice. Shit, I'm sorry if that sounded weird, Darlo said, blushing a bit. Senshi laughed a bit. It's okay, you're not the first person to compliment my voice, Senshi said, smiling. Darlo smiles back, enjoying the sound of her voice. I have to go. Please turn off your Draco walkie-talkie. I hope to talk again soon. Bye, Senshi, Darlo said. Senshi turns off her walkie-talkie and lays down to sleep.